Hi guys, welcome to UK Tech Noob, and this is our first episode. It's going to be episode 1 of 2. So I'm obviously doing a PC build for the very first time. I decided to split this episode into 2 because I want to introduce you to the parts, how much they cost, and just go through each and every part that I decided to buy. And then in the second part, we'll actually do the proper building. So here's all the pieces that I received. So let's do the unboxing. We're going to do the unboxing the easy way. So here's all the parts, and we're going to get into each and every part and just discuss them. And I'm going to go through the parts that I originally picked and the parts that I ended up with or ended up buying. And basically just a quick summary of why and how much it cost. And then you asked me something else.
Wi-Fi cards.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi actually, funny enough, the motherboard that's over there has a built-in Wi-Fi as well. And actually that was one of the reasons I picked that one. But I'll get to that when we talk about the motherboard. So basically the first thing I'm going to go through is the case. So originally I was going to get the Asus Strix. Helios, I think it's called, and it's a beautiful case. It was big. I think it might actually have been bigger than this. So imagine that, and it weighed even more. I remember seeing a video where somebody did the review for it. I can't remember who it was that did the review. It was on a YouTube channel. I think it was Gamers Nexus. And he had trouble lifting it up and putting it on the table. And it just made me laugh. But yeah, I originally that's the case I was going to go for. But the lighting on the front of the case, I haven't shown you the front of this case, but I'll show you it in a bit. But the front of that case wasn't very. I didn't find it very attractive because you can't change anything on the front. It's just a glass with some lighting on it and stuff. And we'll put pictures of it in the final edit. But it was just a glass with some lighting on the front, and I didn't like it. It didn't appeal to me. And also because the glass on the front, airflow was going to be a problem, and I think Gamers Nexus also pointed that out in his video as well. And because of that, I then changed my mind. Also, the original, the Helios, which was what the case I was going to buy, was going to cost £270. So it's an expensive case. So in the end, I decided not to go for that one. And then he also did a review. The same channel also did a review for this case, the one that I actually now got, which was the M500M. And this case, features wise, it looked exactly the same. Not exactly, but it had similar things in common. The only difference was on the front panel, you can remove the mesh and put glass in, or vice versa. So in this case, at the moment, there's a mesh on here. So we've got the glass. I've got the glass on the side there, which I'll show you afterwards. And so the airflow for this is much better. And also the front looks really nice as well once it's powered on. It's got 2 huge fans on the front which light up. So this case I found a lot more appealing. And originally the case goes for £200, but I actually got it for £187 because of the sale. So I basically made an £83 saving on this case, which was fantastic. So we got that as a case. Then we got the motherboard, which I was telling you about as well. So the motherboard at the front, I picked that one specifically because it seems quite popular. It's the Asus Strix Z490E. So you can get the one below that one, which I think was an F. I don't actually remember. I say below, but it's actually the letter is up. It is confusing. But basically with that one, it's slightly cheaper and you don't get the Wi-Fi. So that's the only difference that I could tell. But I wanted the one with Wi-Fi. Obviously, you know that I have issues with the cable getting internet. So basically, I thought it's easiest just to get one built into it and pay that little bit of extra money. And that's what's happened with that. So when I open it, I'll show you. It's got separate Wi-Fi that you connect to the back, and you can put it on the top of the computer or on top of your desk. So I went with that one, and that was the original one I wanted to buy anyway. So the price for that one was £282, so nearly 300. So I didn't really make a saving on that because that was the original one that I wanted to get anyway. All I did was wait until it dropped in price over Black Friday sales, and it didn't really drop in price that much at all. So yeah, so that was the motherboard. So cooling, which is this one here, this big beast here. Originally, I was going to go for the Asus ROG Strix 360. One of the reasons I was going to go for that is so that it matches the motherboard, because they're both Asus that way. So I was going to go for that. But the only thing is, I didn't like I don't know if you can see it on this one at the front, but I'll show you afterwards anyway. On the front, I can't remember what it's called. It's the cover on it. It actually lights up. So I think with the one I was going to get with the Strix, it lights up with the logo. So it'll light up and all you can see is a logo on it. And I didn't like that. I thought I don't want the logo on there. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't change or anything like that. It's just a logo. That's it. And I thought that was a bit too plain. So instead, I went with the Gigabyte Aorus 360. It was actually slightly cheaper. So the Strix, which I was going to get, was 195. The one that I did get, the Aorus 360, came up to 182, and you can change the lighting on the front. So you can change it to whatever you want. You can also upload a picture or a logo or something and put that on it instead, which I think is very cool. So I thought that was a lot more appealing to me, so that's why I went with this one. So that's the cooling. Let's see what else we got. So we got the CPU, which is the blue box down here. So with the CPU, I stuck with I knew which one I was going to get. So I was going to go with the Intel i9 10900K, and that's the one that I did get. The only difference is where you shop for it. Curry PC World, and I got it from there for £500. And they were actually the cheapest anywhere on the online. So as soon as they got it back in stock, I bought it, and that included free postage as well. So I saved £55 on that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you can just leave it there. Did you want to model it for me? You can do that if you want. You can hold it. Yeah, there you go. All right, so the hard drive, I went with that one. Are you actually modeling it? Cool. Originally, I was going to get, this you'll be interested in. So basically, I was going to get the Samsung one, the Samsung 970 Evo, which is one of the fastest ones that I found. It's like everyone I've seen uses that one, but the price was the only thing that put me off. So it was for 500 gigabyte SSD, it was going to cost me £73, which is not too bad. But then I found this Gigabyte one, which is 1 terabyte, so it's double the size, and that one cost me £98. So it was a difference of £25, literally. That was the only difference. So for extra £25, I got another 500 gigabytes. And the only real difference is the speed. So it's slightly slower than the Samsung. My hair's going everywhere. So it's only slightly slower in write speed and read speed, but I don't think you would notice the difference. I think the difference is going to be so small you wouldn't even notice it. So in the end, I decided to pay the extra £25 and go for the larger one, like the 1 terabyte one. So that actually cost me an extra £25 over what I was going to originally get. But I think it's a good balance. I paid the extra £25, but I get double the storage.
When I was buying my one, mine's got 5 terabytes. You see, that's too big. You can't fill it up in your life.
5 terabytes? Yeah, I don't think have you filled it up yet?
No.
Yeah, well, there you go then. So actually, and that's coming up like easily now to the second hard drive. So I've got so that's an SSD. So the other hard drive is the one right here in front, and you don't need to model that because it's in the bag.
Yeah.
But so that one is a 2 terabyte hard drive, and it's a what one is it? It's a Seagate, 3.5-inch drive. It's a SATA drive, so it's just like one of the older ones. That is a 2 terabyte hard drive. So originally, my plan was to use one of my old hard drives that I've got at home, but which I thought was 2 terabytes. So I thought that's fine. I can just take that out of my old machine and put it into this one. Then I realized when I did that, it's actually 1 terabyte, not 2 terabytes. So I read it wrong. So all this time, for years, I've been thinking it was a 2 terabyte. It wasn't. It was actually 1 terabyte. I never even filled that one up. So in the end, I thought, okay, I'll leave that one in there because I've got other plans for that build, and that'll obviously we'll discuss that in the future sometime. So in the end, I decided to buy this one, and this one was only £47 for a 2 terabyte hard drive. So in the end, I just bought this one. So I was out of pocket £47 because that's £47 extra I spent. But to be honest, I think that's not too bad. So the SSD is going to be used for the operating system and more important programs that I need running fast. So this hard drive here, which is 2 terabytes, will store everything else, especially games. So it'll be used for that. Then we go on to the power supply. Is it a power supply? Yes, it is, which is this one here. So this is interesting because originally I wanted to get the Asus ROG Thor, which is an 850 watt power supply, and it has a really nice little display on there, which it gives you a readout. At the time, I thought that was perfect. I actually really did want to get that one, but it was out of stock literally everywhere. So there was no possible way I could get hold of it. And in fact, looking at other power supplies, almost all of them were out of stock. So in the end, I decided to go with this one, which is a EVGA B5. This one's only 750 watt. So now this is the problem here. So I went with this one because I went with this one, it gave me a saving of £116. So the one I was going to buy was going to cost me £211 just for the power supply. It was a very fancy one, but then I really thought about it and I thought I don't need a power supply that gives you a readout of how many watts you're draining from the socket. It wouldn't make any difference to me, so I thought, okay, I'm not going to need that. So in the end, I decided to go with my cousin was the one who recommended this one, who's helped me out with a lot of the parts actually on this build. And so I went with this one. The advantage is it is fully modular. It's very cheap. It only costs me £95 basically. So like I said, I had a saving of nearly £116. So the only difference is, like in the long term, when I get a graphics card, which I haven't actually got yet, so there's no graphics card included with this build, that's going to come later on. I've now decided which one I'm going to get, but the one I wanted to get, I couldn't, because you need a 850 watt power supply for it. So that was the only drawback. So all the graphics cards I looked at, I couldn't get any that had a 850 watt requirement. So I had to stick to the one which has a 750. Luckily, the one I do want is 750. It's just out of stock everywhere. So there's no telling when that's going to come into stock. So basically, so that's just something to be cautious about with the power supply. Yeah. So and I think this is the last thing left, which is the RAM. These ones. So I knew which RAM I was going to get. There was no doubt about that. So the only real difference was where I was going to buy it from. So I went with the Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro. In total, so it's 32 gigabytes. So I bought 2 packs of 16 gigabyte sticks. So they're 8 gigabyte sticks. And originally I was going to buy it from Scan, and it was £170. And I actually ordered them. I had already ordered them. And then I looked on Amazon, and they'd got dropped in price significantly to £146. So in the end, I went with those ones. I bought those. I contacted Scan and asked them to cancel that order, and they sent me just this in the end. So I made a saving of £24 basically on getting those. They are 3600 gigahertz speed-wise. The ones I did want to get were the G-Skill. I'll actually show you pictures of them afterwards because you're going to love them. The ones I wanted to get were the G-Skill Trident 2 Royal, which come in gold and silver. You're going to love the gold ones. And they look incredible, but they are so expensive. I think buying these ones, so I've got 4 sticks here for the £146. For £146, I would only have got 2 of those ones, so I would have had to spend double. And I couldn't justify that cost, so I didn't bother.
He will soon.
But eventually, I think I am going to want to try and get those. So the next build I probably do, hopefully, I will go for those. So okay, so those are all the parts. So in total, the original parts that I wanted to buy originally, it would have cost me £1,756. 1756. That's what it would have cost me. Afterwards, when it actually came down to buying it, and I ended up with these parts, it actually cost me 1,538. So that's the final figure. And then obviously that's without a graphics card. So there's no graphics cards. But like I said, with the graphics cards at the moment, they're very difficult to get hold of anyway. And when the opportunity did come up, I didn't buy it because I was still like trying to decide which one I want. So I'm not going to say which one I'm getting because that's going to be a surprise. So we'll eventually do another video where when it actually arrives, I can open it up, install it, and then we can try out, do a couple of benchmarks or something, and then just basically see how it goes. So that's so basically that's it. That's all. So these are all the parts, and what we're going to do now is we're going to do another video and put them all together. So we've split this video into 2 parts. I think I did mention that at the beginning. So this part, it was just to discuss the parts, show you what I got, how much they cost and everything. And the next video now, which we will upload soon after, is going to be installing all of it. It might be a long video because I don't want to mess anything up. This is literally the first time I'm doing it. So I don't want to mess anything up. And the last thing I want to do is take the motherboard out and short circuit the motherboard. And like 2 minutes into the video, I short circuit it. The board is useless. And that's £300 down the drain. I have to order another one. So I don't want to do that. So basically, we're going to take it one step at a time. This is literally the first time I'm ever doing this. So if anybody else is wondering what happens when you actually do it for the very first time, you're going to get to see me do it. So hopefully it'll help some people who haven't done it before. Oh, and I forgot to mention, actually, in addition to all of this stuff, I actually bought this as an extra. So this is basically a little remote control. You get a little fob with it, like a car fob, and you can actually switch on your computer and you can switch it off. You can restart it. For most people, this is going to be completely useless. In fact, it'll probably be useless for me as well, but I just like the idea of it. I thought it'd be quite cool. So that's going to be installed in there as well. This is more aimed towards people who have a case that they put up on a wall, especially with a clear case, so that it can be wall mounted. So if it's wall mounted and you've got it mounted on the other side of the room or something, it's handy when you're sitting down. You can just reset it instead of walking over to do it. In my case, more than likely the case is going to be right next to me anyway. So yeah, but this is just a little extra thing that I decided to buy, and so yeah, we're going to install that in there as well. And so yeah, that's it. So we'll see you next time, and let's get building.